Hi there. So, this post is really aimed at parents who are looking at their kid and thinking, listen, I think this kid is gay or lesbian or trans or something, and they haven't told me about it. I'm a gay psychologist who's seen a lot of young people and their parents over the years in this situation. So, I have some thoughts. Now, there's lots of directions I could take this. I could talk about how to educate yourself, how to identify your fears or your prejudices or your assumptions. And we all have them. You don't have to feel like you're mired in the 17th century if you have some unpleasant associations with LGBTQ stuff, right? You were raised in a culture stuffed with these ideas. It would be weird if none of them rubbed off on you. If you think they didn't, you need to look again. And genuinely, it can be a good idea to start preparing yourself for the possibility so you're not completely clueless if your kid comes out to you. But with this post, I'm mostly concerned with a common question that parents ask. I think my kid is gay or trans or whatever, and it must be hard to be keeping that a secret. And I want to open up the lines of communication. I want to make it clear that if I'm right, I'm still their mom, I'm still their dad, and they still have a family that supports them. But how do I do that when they haven't come out? Sometimes parents think, maybe my kid doesn't think he has to come out. He's certainly dropped enough clues along the way. It's pretty obvious. He must think I already know, so he doesn't have to mention it. And frankly, he'd be right about that. I do know. But there's information that two people know, but isn't acknowledged between them. You know. He knows. He knows you know. You know he knows you know. But you still can't talk about it. And listen, you might be surprised. Sexual minority youth often think they are deep undercover when they're not. It's pretty clear, but they think it's a big secret. This is an ongoing theme, by the way, when people come out. They get all worked up to speak the truth, and the person they come out to says, "Oh, yeah, I know. I've always known. Glad you told me. How'd class go today?" And there's complete shock. And sometimes the people around know what's going on, but the young person himself or herself or themselves, they don't. Some parents say, "Oh, yeah, I've known since you were 4 years old." And the person says, "What are you talking about? I only figured it out last year. Like, you could have told me." But you know what? No, you couldn't. It's not your place. People have to figure this stuff out for themselves. So saying to your son, "So, Josh, do you think you might be gay?" Not allowed. Rightly or wrongly, young males are usually kind of anxious about their sexuality and masculinity. If he's straight, having his own mother think that he's gay is not going to help. And if he's gay, thinking that everyone on the planet can tell, that's not going to help either. So my advice is to shut up about that. What we've got is a barrier between them and you, a barrier of knowledge or of candidness. And it's a one-way barrier. I've just said that you can't jump over it to them. They have to jump over it and come to you. We cannot take that barrier away. What you can do is lower it so it's easier for them to jump over. How do you do that? Well, first, monitor your own reactions when gay people are around. What happens when LGBTQ people show up on TV or in movies that you happen to be watching? Now, maybe your natural impulse is to make a comment, not a horrible one, something that to you seems casual and fine. Well, that character is going to turn out to be gay, or, woo, she's really living her truth, eh? Or, he's just not that convincing as a woman. If you're right about your kid, they may not look like they're paying attention. They're looking off into the kitchen or something. They're paying attention. They're looking the other way, but they're scanning and listening to everything you say for hints, no matter how subtle, that you might not be too accepting. Now, you might think you're on pretty safe ground. Your son may be gay, but you're pretty sure he doesn't want to be a drag queen, so the fact that you don't really get drag, that's not a problem. Your daughter might be a lesbian, but you're making a comment on that feminine looking boy. Totally different thing. No. There's your attitude about the particular status that you think your kid might have, and sure, they're listening for that, but they're also listening for your openness more generally. And if you're fine with trans people, but not so great with gay men, then your trans kid is going to take that on. You are building the wall, not lowering it. You might also be accidentally signaling what you're willing to accept. You think, okay, I can deal with my son being gay just so long as he isn't wearing makeup. Or it would be okay if he was gay so long as he isn't trans. So you might be subtly behaving in a way to make those distinctions. But here's the thing. What your kid is what your kid is. You can't change that by saying, this bit makes me uncomfortable. I'm okay with brown hair, but I don't like blonde hair. Well, tough luck. The whole process may feel unnatural to you. Guess what? It is. You were raised in a culture with lots of negative stuff about sexuality generally, and sexual and gender minorities in particular. The default assumption of most parents is that their kid is probably straight and cisgendered, meaning not trans. Those parents you see on YouTube saying, oh, I never made any assumptions and I was totally open to however my kid was. Well, those are either really rare, meaning I've never met them, or they're lying. It's like saying, I have never been influenced by racial stereotyping in my life. You need to look harder. So you may feel like, but I genuinely do like girly girls, and I want my daughter to be one. And I do want my son to marry one and give me grandkids, the usual way. That's the honest truth. I can't help it. Well, maybe you're right, but that doesn't change anything. Every parent, including the parents of straight kids, they have to let go of their vision of what their kid will be so the kid can become the person they really are. I often say that it's the job of every young person to disappoint their parents, because if they become exactly what their parents imagined, then they haven't become themselves. For parents, it's a genuinely artificial process of prying their fingers off the dream that they've been holding on to and letting it go. Letting their kid be who they are, because they will be anyway. We can train our kids in impulse control, in responsibility, in financial decision making, in cooking, in kindness. But their sexuality or gender identity, good luck. If growing up in an overwhelmingly straight and cisgendered world with straight parents, straight teachers, straight television, straight expectations, and mostly straight friends didn't do it, you frowning at Elton John's husband is not going to change things. I don't do conversion therapy because, among other things, I'm competent and I can read research. But the whole idea always seemed laughable to me. We're going to have you chat with a therapist for an hour a week, or go to some anti-gay summer camp for a month, and that's going to do what more than 20 years in a straight culture didn't. As if. Never in my wildest dreams did I think therapy was that powerful. Not that it's a good goal anyway, obviously. So your kid doesn't have to think you're all the way there. What they're looking for are signs that you're stretching yourself. You're trying to see things from other perspectives. You're not writing people off just for being different. That's going to help. So what else can you do? Well, you can stretch your tastes. And frankly, there might be a little bit of acting involved here. Left to your own devices, you would never watch Drag Race. You would never read Graham Norton's autobiography or Jodie Foster's. You'd never read Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugenides. Fine, now you do. And you don't hide it. You leave the book around. Your kid's coming home for movie night and you suggest the biopic about Freddie Mercury, or maybe Moonlight, or Love, Simon, or The Birdcage, or Boy Erased, or The Danish Girl. Just don't list only gay movies or it's too obvious. And listen, I do know that most of these things can be criticized one way or another, like Eddie Redmayne playing a trans woman, or straight men always getting Academy Awards for being so courageous to play a gay man. Whatever. If your kid is open, be open to watching it. Oh, hey, Josh, I picked 3 movies. Die Hard, In and Out, or Citizen Kane. Any preference? Just slipping a gay-themed film onto the menu will be noticed, even if it means you have to suffer through Die Hard again as a result. Mom, do you even know what In and Out is about? Yeah, so what? I like Kevin Kline. One tip, though. Do your research privately and see if the film has explicit sex in it. Straight or gay, not many people want to sit watching sex scenes with mom and dad. If necessary, watch the thing, then deny that you've ever seen it. This is a little performative. That's fine. You may think it's dishonest. Fine. You can come out about it yourself 5 years from now. And make a point of opening up about gay or trans issues. Yes, Josh's out gay friend Brandon can come to dinner. No, you're not in favor of rolling back gay rights. Yes, you think that the perpetrators of hate crimes should be prosecuted. Yes, you will pay for your kid's pink shirt for the anti-bullying day at school. Be as honest as you can here. Don't just lie about it. But imagine that you're right. Your daughter is a lesbian. What kind of world do you wish for her? Are you on your kid's side or not? You can also talk about your own struggles. You were raised to think a certain way, but you look back and remember your math teacher and how much you admired her. If your views have mellowed over the years, say so. And when others make the anti-gay or anti-trans comments that are so common in our culture, don't keep your mouth shut. You can stand up, speak up, and disagree. You do not have to hit anybody, better if you don't. But by reacting and not just sitting there, letting comments go unaddressed, you can make it clear that you are in your kid's corner regardless of who they are. I don't like those jokes in this house. Or, I don't care that candidate is gay. What are his policies? Or, what difference does it make? People still need to use the bathroom. Your silence will only be interpreted as your consent or your agreement. And why wouldn't it be? By modeling acceptance and beyond acceptance, appreciation, you can make it clear that home is a safe space for your son or daughter. They can be honest with you, and you will do your best to accommodate. You don't have to march in parades if you don't want to. And if it's not safe for your kid to come out to you, don't signal that it is. That would be a betrayal of trust. But if you have done your own work, and you know that you can accommodate this, you can show it before they have to rely on you. Good luck. Thanks for watching. My books, The Assertiveness Workbook, How to Be Miserable, 40 Strategies You Already Use, and How to Be Miserable in Your 20s are available with online booksellers or through your local bookseller as well. See you again.